All right, shalom, shalom. I'd like to first and foremost start off by giving infinite praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. I'd like to say shalom, Wa'ashanya, Kabad, Gadwala, Rakab, Zakoyam Nawa, Wahashalayakim Nawa, which of course is double honors to our elders and our apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom, Wabarakim, Labakaryam, Shal Yasha Allah, which is peace and blessings unto the elect of Israel. I'm the brother Dawud from the DC Church, back with another short lesson through the Spirit and Power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And real quick, as you can see on the screen, this is a video screen recording that's actually sent in the chat of the elder, I said elder, of quote unquote Captain Tazaryach and one of his, I guess one of the other members of his church, Kataza, or of his camp, what have you. His name is Kataza. And it seems like they have some type of show or radio show that they host where people can call in and ask questions. And so somebody called in and asked a pretty good question, and their response to it was just totally, off. So I'm going to bring out some precepts, all right, because the scriptures talk about these type of men. They talk about these type of guys, all right, false prophets, okay? But we'll get into that. I'm going to go ahead and play the video and bring out some precepts, Lord willing, this be edifying.
Great tribulation. What synchronicities or what correlations does this, this new technocratic, government that's being developed, what's the thin line between the two?
Can you say it again?
From, great tribulation and, the last days being cut short, by the chosen ones. So, and then you put that up against, the technocracy that's being developed, the idea that, they're going to kill the dollar and, we'll be issued a central-based digital currency and all of that. How much of that, is something that you guys, acknowledge and talk about, and what role, do the Israelites play as the chosen ones that will cut those days short?
Yeah, you might want to let Kadazai answer this one because this sounds like a conspiracy. And what I mean by that is Kadazai, like there's lanes that we have. When I think of cryptocurrency, I think of fake money. That's what my brain says. My brain says that it's nonsense. My brain says that there's no control of it. That's what my brain says. But I think Kadazai may be able to talk about it more intelligently than I can. Kadazai, I don't know if you want to chime in on that because I don't trust crypto at all.
Okay. You could just see as far as whatever their plans are their plans. If they slide over to cryptocurrency, if whatever the hell they do, ain't shit you could be able to do besides preparing with your people. Commander General Yohanan gave an order where he said it's time that we start living like we don't have a government. He said that it's time that we start relying on each other. It's time that we start focusing on sustainability and each other. General Muhammad said, you understand that we need our own medical supplies. You understand? He says that we need our own food supplies, so on and so forth. We got to stop. Okay, stop with and this isn't only for you, this is for everybody. Stop with the Alex Jones and all this extra shit that goes on out there. And what I mean is, white people are worried about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, white people worry about martial law. White people worry about, you understand, cryptocurrency,
right,
and all this. You know what I'm saying? When, you know what I mean? Like, the vast majority of us, you understand, like, when it comes down to it, don't even got a 401k in a lot of different areas. You know what I'm saying? Like they worry about these retirement plans and where the government shifting. This is their world. This is their problems. We have to build our world. You understand? And Commander Jenny Hahn and the ISUBK is rebuilding that world. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to stop putting so much energy into their system and focus on our system. And guess what?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Man.
There's, great tribulation. What synchronicity?
Man, it's so much wrong So much wrong with that answer, man. Because it seemed like the brother actually had a genuine question. All right. And based on what's happening in current day events, all right, with what he was talking about, you had the CBDC. He spoke about, cryptocurrencies and things of that nature, how they're going to kill the dollar. These are important things to know. All right. These are important things to know because according to prophecy, all right, Revelation, all right, that we always bring out, Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark. So the reason why it's so important to talk about, the central bank and these CBDCs, all right, which are central bank digital currencies that they're going to implement after they kill the dollar, is because it links perfectly with prophecy in Revelation, the 13th chapter, where it talks about no man is going to be able to buy or sell save he that had the mark. Now, when you look into the word mark, it goes into what? The Greek word charagma, like we always go into, which is an insertion, all right, which we link to the modern day RFID chip. Okay. And guess what's going to be on that RFID chip? Buying and selling transactions are going to be taking place with that RFID chip. All right, i.e. digital transactions via CBDC. All right, which is a digital version of the dollar. Okay, because remember, you can't track everything if you have a physical dollar. All right, that's why the Federal Reserve, I actually believe they switched from writing paper checks this year to going fully digital. All right, everything is now digital. Okay, via blockchain technology. All right, now blockchain, basically how it works is the next block in the chain writes the source code, if I'm not mistaken, of the previous block. All right, so it's always linked. Okay, there's always a link back to, there's always a trail. Okay, or a tracing back. All right, so that question, that the Jake asked to Tazaryach and to Capt, that was a very pivotal, a very vital question, man. And it's good that his mind is even thinking that way and wondering basically where is the state of the world moving. All right, because here's the thing: things are happening in the world, but you have to be able to have the ability to compare spiritual things with spiritual, like it mentions in 1 Corinthians, the 2nd chapter. If you do not have the ability to compare spiritual things or prophecies, all right, with spiritual things, which are the things that manifest in the world, you are going to be totally lost, man. All right, just like Tazaryach and Kataza. All right, and then these dudes got the nerve to talk about spend the whole, not even answering the question, going to talk about General Yohana said, da 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 da, we need to start coming together and da da da. It's like, bro, what does that even have to do with the question? Number one. Number two, you bigging up General Yohana like he's Yahweh Shai, And then number three, he gonna talk about that's what white folks believe. That's what let these white people handle their own I mean, if you're technically speaking, he would be considered white. All right. He would be considered white. OK, this is why we stay away from these terms, white people and black people. And we always say things like so-called. All right. Really, we understand the biblical term is Edomites. All right. Edomites. And that's not just an Edomite problem. OK, central bank digital currency is something that plays a pivotal part in biblical prophecy. All right. And it's something that we need to be, as true prophets, warning our people about. OK, we need to let our people know that, look, in order for them to usher in this RFID chip or this MOTB, they're going to use something called a central bank digital currency or some forms of means of digital currency. All right. So that they can control transactions. This is Esau's MO. All right. His motive operandi. OK, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but this is his motive, man. All right, we need to be the ones shedding light on that darkness, exposing it. All right, and here you have it. These guys are talking about we need not to be worried about that. You know, this is how you know that these men are completely false prophets. All right, these guys are false prophets, man. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out some scriptures in Jeremiah as well. Jeremiah 14 and verse 13. It says, then said I, Lord power, behold, the prophets say unto them, ye shall not see the sword, neither shall ye have famine, but I will give you assured peace in this place. You see? So at the time when Jeremiah was teaching that, look, the Babylonians are going to come in. There's going to be destruction. There's going to be casualties. And we're going to have to go into captivity. You had other prophets talking about how there was going to be peace. All right. The sword is not going to touch them. No famine is going to happen unto them. All right. And assuring them that basically, all right, you're going to still continue to be able to live comfortably. All right. And when you think about it, these guys, they don't really want the kingdom of the Heavenly Father to come. All right. They don't care about, the new covenant and Yahushua coming back, us receiving new bodies. All right. These guys are completely comfortable in America. All right. And really what they want is more numbers in their church so that they can make even more money. All right. And that's why they're comfortable. That's why these guys do all these damn debates. Tazaryach is doing debate after debate after debate. You better believe he's not just doing that for his health. All right. He's doing that to get a bag. OK, he's doing that to get money. OK. And that money breeds what? It breeds comfortability. All right. And that comfortability blurs your vision. OK, it takes your mind off of the focus of what's really happening in the world. All right. And how you should be comparing those things. All right. That are happening in the world to biblical prophecy. All right. Remember, the Heavenly Father is in control of everything that's happening in the world. You think it's just happening. Oh, that's whatever. The CBDC, that's nothing. No, man. All right. It's happening because the Heavenly Father ordained it to happen, and it's happening according to prophecy. All right. So that is an important thing. All right. But these guys, they don't speak about prophecy. They don't go into these things. All right. And really, it's because they don't have the spirit of Yahushua on them. All right. Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy. So it says, I'm going to continue on Jeremiah, the 14th chapter, and verse 14. It says, then said the Lord unto me, the prophets prophesy lies in my name. I sent them not. Neither have I commanded them. Neither spake unto them. They prophesy unto you a false vision and divination in the thing of naught. All right. And the deceit of their hearts. OK. And this is exactly what these guys, they don't even go into this stuff, man. All they talk about how we need to come together under General Yohana because he's this and he's that and da 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 da. What is that doing for our people, man? All right. How are you warning them of the impending danger that is getting ready to happen? Especially if you're not even warning them of the CBDC. OK. Because that is linked to one of the most major things, all right, that the scriptures talk about will come to pass in the last days, all right, which is the MOTB, buying and selling. How do you think these transactions are going to take place? All right, you think we're still going to be using paper cash, credit cards when the MOTB is issued? Hell no. Okay. But these guys, to me, when I hear cryptocurrency, I just think of fake money, man. I don't even deal with that stuff. It's not about that, man. All right. It's about linking the things that's happening in the world to prophecy. Okay. Jake is just, within their own echo chambers, man. All right. Verse 15, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, concerning the prophets that prophesy in my name, I sent them not. Yet they say, sword and famine shall not be in this land. It says, by sword and famine shall those prophets, all right, those same prophets be consumed. Okay. So these men are totally going to be consumed. All right. And this is why, my elders, all right, the Raj Capt, one of his famous terms for, people like Tazaryach, he's just a content creator. All right. He's not. These guys do not deserve the title of prophets. Okay. They are content creators at this point. Okay. They get online, and what do content's creators? They put out content to influence. All right. To influence, and also for what? For monetary gain. This is what they do it for, man. All right. These guys are doing this for monetary gain. Okay. They're not doing this to truthfully warn our people, man. All right. They're not talking about, Yahweh Shai coming back. They're not talking about, the MOTB. All right. Linking what's happening and with the war in Iran to biblical prophecy. Nobody's talking about prophecy but the men of GMS. Okay. And you have other camps out there, other brothers out there. Okay. But namely, all right, it's about the doctrine, man. Okay. Nobody else is doing this. All right. But he said, but by those same things shall those prophets be consumed. Verse 16, and the people to whom they prophesy shall be cast out in the streets of Jerusalem because of the famine and the sword, and they shall have none to bury them, their wives, nor their sons, nor their daughters, for I will pour their wickedness upon them. And this is what the Lord is getting ready to do, man. So you can go ahead and listen to these guys if you want to. All right. Talking about that's something that, just white people need to be worried about. These guys are still saying white people in 2026. When we know damn well they're the freaking Edomites, man. Like these, it's just their minds, the way that they even think, it's the Lord is. You could see that the Spirit of the Lord is just simply not upon these men. Okay. So it says what? It says, man, it's honestly it's irritating, It says, for I will pour their wickedness upon them. Okay. And that's what the Lord is getting ready to do, man. So and this is why it's important to, also know what you're following and know who you're following. Do your own research. Remember, the scriptures talk about the church of what's the church name? Start with a B. Forget. Not the church of the church of Berea. All right, the church of Berea, how they studied. They didn't just take things for face value. They actually looked into things, went into things, and when you go into these things, all right, when you really go into prophecy and you see, that damn, these guys ain't talking about this. Like, these guys ain't talking about the CBDC, not talking about the mark of the beast. They're not talking about what's happening in Iran. All right, they're not talking about, anything to do with end time prophecies. Okay. Yeah, there got to be something off with them. Okay. You got to question yourself. All right. You got to question, everything, man. And even our apostles say that. Our apostles say, hey, don't just take, what our breakdown. Go and look it up, man. Go and do some research, and the Spirit be with you. You'll see what the truth is, man. All right. You will see. So I got about one more precept. This is I think I had some on here too. Let me see. What is this chapter? Okay, yeah, I did have something. This Revelation. Yup. I'm gonna get that one last though. Let me get this one first. This is Micah chapter 3. Just missed that. Okay. Micah chapter 3 and verse 11. It says, matter of fact, I should start up a little bit. 3 and verse 9. It says, hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob and the princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and that pervert equity. All right. It says, they build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire. All right. It says, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Okay. This is what happens when your whole organization is based around money. All right. You start perverting the doctrine. Okay. It says, yet will they lean upon the Lord and say, is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us. Verse 12, therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as the field. All right, you're going to have many people. You're going to have bodies dropping, all right, because of these camps like like ISUPK, okay? You're going to have innocent people. Well, I can't say innocent, but you're going to have people dying, all right, because they're following these men, okay? And I'm not talking about dying with integrity, man. I'm not talking about dying with honor. All right. You're going to have people having dishonorable deaths, man. All right. Because they're listening to these guys, okay, who are just totally leading them to catastrophe. All right. Like the scriptures say right here. That's the spirit that I got it in the NSB on the other side. Matter of fact, let me read it real quick. Verse 11 again in the NASB 20. It says, her leaders pronounce judgment for her bribe, her priests teach for pay, and her prophets divine for money. Yet they lean on the Lord, saying, is the Lord not in our midst? Catastrophe will not come upon us. Okay. So it says, I'm going to just read verse 12 in the regular KJV. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as the field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountains of the houses of the priests of the forest, and the mountains of the houses as the high places of the forest. You see? So basically, you know, it's saying that Zion is going to be plowed as the field because they're following these damn false prophets, man. All right. Content creators like Tazaryach, okay, who just totally disannul prophecy. All right. This guy is still living back in 1980s, man, talking about some cryptocurrency is just fake. All right. Which it is, you know, it is just fake money. It's digitalized money. But nonetheless, it's important to know about these things, man. All right. You can't just be oblivious and living in your own echo chambers, because these things are intuitive to prophecy. All right. It's relevant to prophecy. OK, so I'm going to read this last verse. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 18. And I wanted to get this just in regards to Esau, because all right, through, you know, all of the things that he's doing, all right, with this prophecy is mentioning, all right, the CBDC, the digitalization of everything. He's destroying the world, man. OK, but in due time, what the Lord is going to bring a destruction unto him. And not only Esau, man, the Lord is going. This is why, you know, 2/3 of our people also need to be taken out, man. All right. So this is Revelation chapter 11, verse 18. It says the heathen were filled with rage because this is in the GNT, by the way. This is Revelation 11 and 18 in the GNT. It says the heathen were filled with rage because the time for your anger has come. The time for the Lord's anger has come. All right. It says, in the time for the dead to be judged, it says the time has come to reward your servants, the prophets, and all your people. It says all who have reverence for you. All right. And these men, they don't have reverence for Yahushua. OK, they don't have reverence for the Lord. OK, because if they did, they'll be getting into things like this. They'll be getting into things, current events and things of that nature regarding the prophecy. OK. It says great and small alike. It says the time has come to destroy those who destroy the earth. OK, so that time is right now, man. The Lord's getting ready to come back. He's getting ready to destroy Esau. He's getting ready to take him out the way. OK, but before that, he's going to let Esau accomplish some of his enterprise. All right, some of his schemes. All right, which is the creation of the MOTB. All right, and that in actual physical form is the RFID chip. All right. And the RFID chip is going to host many digital many digital functionalities. All right. Such as buying and selling. All right. Such as your medical records, your identification, all of those things. All right. How do we know that? Because the scriptures say that it's going to be directly linked to buying and selling. OK. And that's the same thing that we see happening and manifesting physically. OK, that's what you call comparing spiritual things, biblical prophecy, with spiritual things that are manifesting within current events in the world. All right. That's what we as prophets do. OK, that's called watching. All right. So I just wanted to bring that out, through the spirit. These guys are totally off. They're not giving a true warning to our people. All right, and we as prophets and as men have to call these things out. All right, we are defenders of the gospel. Okay. Hey, so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Until next time, I like to say, hey, Shalom.